Hey everyone, Johnny and Daniel back again, coming off of our Comic-Con coverage, which was fucking a crazy weekend.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for watching those and supporting those videos. But here, Sunday night, we're here to talk about Game of Thrones.
GOT.
Last week was obviously the season premiere after a very long layoff, and we're right back with another episode. And this one was, I will say, a lot better than last week's.
What's your instant reaction before we jump into everything? Like, what's your?
I'm very excited. It was great.
It was action packed.
There was one big action sequence. But just things happened a lot quicker in this episode. There's a lot of movement on the board, if you will, and so after last week kind of set things up for the season, things are really like changing and shit's going down.
All right, Johnny, kick us off. What's our first topic?
Well, we have Daenerys. We open with her basically at Dragonstone, and there's a storm going on and whatnot, and she's basically trying to come up with a plan. She kind of wants to hurry up and take the kingdoms already, and she talks to Varys because she still remembers the fact that he basically tried to kill her when he was working for Robert Baratheon, and so she's kind of like wary of him being involved. She kind of like, yeah, why don't I just kill you if you're going to turn on me if things go, rough. But he kind of gets, her to get off his back and swears that he won't do that.
He does what he does, which is just talk his way. He's kind of like Littlefinger and those type of characters. Like, he will just talk his way through it.
Yeah.
And he does make a good point. He's more valuable to any leader than he is dead to any leader, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Just because the way he positions himself.
Yeah, I totally agree. Melisandre shows up, the Red Priestess, and basically says, she talks about the prophecy of Azor Ahai and how this person is needed to stop the White Walkers.
She says to go get Jon Snow, basically.
Well, she says that she thinks that Dany and Jon need to work together, and it's not going to work if they're separate, basically. And so that's very interesting. And Tyrion knows of Jon from like the first episode of the entire series. And they went to the Wall together, and so he writes a letter to Jon. He knows that they might be able to hook up. We cut to the north. And
yeah, let's just continue on that path because those two kind of were together the whole time, if you will.
It begins and ends, kind of.
Yeah, and basically he does send a raven to Jon. He has like a little town hall meeting, like he does. I do like when you see the other leaders, they're just talking to like their close confidants. Yeah. Usually when it's Jon making decisions, he has like a town hall meeting, and he lets everybody lay the shit out there.
Yeah, and so he not only does he get that letter, but he gets the letter that was sent last week from Sam, who's at the Citadel, obviously, and he found out that there's so much dragon glass at Dragonstone,
which is his overriding factor, because originally he didn't really necessarily want to go see Daenerys, but then he was like, well, I have to go there now because she has this mountain of dragon glass. And that's basically how he didn't really even convince everybody. He was just like, this is how it's going to be. You elected me your leader. Not elect, but they picked him as their leader in the north. Now basically he's going to go see Daenerys.
Oh, it was a funny thing in the town hall meeting. They're talking about you can't trust the Targaryens are insane. And little do they know, Jon is a Targaryen, not a Stark, or like, really. And so that's a really funny thing. And Sansa gets left in command of the North, and he makes it a point to like appoint her basically in front of everyone. And right before he leaves, he talks to. Well, he doesn't talk to Littlefinger. Littlefinger talks to him, comes down to him in the crypts, and he's looking at Ned's like statue and like where the bones are.
Yeah.
And he they don't have a very good little back and forth. He fucking chokes him to death almost,
and basically says, "Don't touch my sister, otherwise I'll kill you myself." And then he goes off to go see Daenerys.
Yeah.
And Daenerys, in the meantime, has another meeting with all of her allies, basically everybody that she can pull together.
Yeah, because she has the Greyjoys, obviously with Theon and Asha, and then she has Lady Tyrell.
Dorne.
Yeah, from no, she's Highgarden.
I know, but she has Dorne.
Yeah, she has Dorne with her, obviously, which are like the Sand Snakes. And but anyway, they come up with this plan, led by Tyrion, basically, because he knows the ins and outs of what Cersei is expecting. And they're going to send, basically, the plan is to have the Dornish army and what's left of the Tyrells, and they're going to go to King's Landing and assault Cersei right there. Because their logic is you can't have foreign invaders go right into the capital because it's not going to go over well with the people, obviously. And so, as far as Unsullied goes, Grey Worm is supposed to lead them to Casterly Rock. which is just where the Lannisters are, so it's not really an issue if they're foreign or not. And so that's the game plan. And the Greyjoys, Asha and Theon, are taking their ships with the Dornish army, obviously, and Lady Tyrell's not with them. She's still back in Dragonstone. Fortunately for her, because
they get attacked
in the middle of the night.
In the middle of the night, they're having like almost like they're about to get into a little sex scene, maybe.
Yeah.
And then it's just like pff, like the boats like smash into them. And you're like, what the hell is going on? Their uncle, of course, who said he was going to get a present for Cersei, fucking attacks them, and it's a badass scene. Like this, like thing comes crashing down on their vessel, and he's like riding
like screaming and laughing. He's fucking crazy.
It was this brutal, like literally out of nowhere. Like we had no idea. Out of nowhere for a good 5 minutes, slaughtering like.
It's like rated R Pirates of the Caribbean. Basically,
it was insane. Long story short, he takes the. I can't remember her name, the Dornish lady.
Alaria, I believe.
Alaria, the mom of the main character now. And also the sister, Theon's sister, Asha, takes them prisoner. I'm pretty sure they're going to turn into mountain food. He has Asha, and he's like, Theon, come on, because just Theon left. He's like, come on, Theon. And then Theon has just flashbacks and PTSD, basically, to when he was being tortured. So he jumped ship. And then the final shot of the episode is the big boat being, going off in the distance, and Theon's just floating in the water.
Yeah, he's fucked. And
it was a badass moment.
Everyone that got captured is fucked.
Yeah, they're gonna get tortured, or
next week is not gonna be good for them because Alaria, because Oberyn got killed by the Lannisters, basically, getting his head crushed by the mountain. She killed Cersei's daughter, and so now.
Oh, and that basically led to him being what we see now for the mountain, correct?
Yeah, because he got stabbed by Oberyn.
So. He's probably not going to be feeling good about that. That's his sister and shit.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Oh man,
it's not going to be good. Cersei calls all of the lords that she trusts to come to King's Landing, and Randall Tarley, Sam's dad, is one of the most important ones, and he comes. And Cersei goes and gives her a little speech. Please help us out, basically, without the please part. And Jaime, pulls Randall to the side afterwards, and he says, if you do this for us, then we'll make sure that you're taken care of afterwards, blah, blah, blah. But he apparently has sworn an oath to the Tyrells, which are on the side of Dorne and Daenerys, and it's like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to break my oath. I'm not like you, basically. And Jaime is not pleased with that answer, and so it's just not. It's kind of a messy fucking situation.
It's not working out for anybody. Like everybody's kind of fucked at this point.
But specifically Cersei, because she's really kind of on her own. I mean, at least Jon and Daenerys have the prospect of teaming up because we know that they're good people, for the most part. And so, but with Cersei, it's like none of the people that she trusts really like her, and really, so that's kind of where that ends. But then a little bit later on, Cersei is with the fucking creepy guy that,
and they're basically in the crypt of the castle, if you will, the keep. And there's like
all the dragons.
There's like dragon bones and skulls down there. And then there's like this giant one. I guess was like the biggest dragon of all time.
Yeah, Balerion the Dread, the Black Dread.
Yeah. The head was there, and then he was like,
"It's huge."
Oh, because early on they were like, "Oh, they have dragons. How are we going to defeat them?" Yeah. He was like, "Oh, we have something." So he's showing Cersei to have like this big like harpoon type thing, and he like shoots it through the skull. It doesn't explode, but it just like it could kill it easily, and then they like shot it in its brain or something. And it's like, oh man, I hope one of the dragons doesn't catch that. And also,
it's definitely one of them was going to catch it. I can tell you that right now.
Probably, hopefully not. Also, the other part of the episode, Arya basically found out that she had no idea that the North was captured by Jon.
Yeah, because she was in Essos for the longest time, in Braavos, technically, and so now that she's back, she really is just getting exposed to all the shit that's going on.
So she finds out by her friend that was at the tavern,
Hot Pie.
Oh, I haven't seen him forever. I didn't even remember his name. He tells her that
Jon
is he's in Winterfell, and they've taken it back. He doesn't tell her that Sansa's there, obviously, but she like goes outside. She's like, "Oh, I gotta go." She gets on her horse.
She's freaked. It was such a cool moment,
and she turns and goes.
Hopefully, she can get up there. Jon's gone now, but I really want to see that reunion go down. It would just be magical. Because I remember how cool the reunion was between Jon and Sansa, and they weren't even that close. But Arya and Jon were really fucking close. So, and then there's a really weird scene. with Arya later on, where she's in the middle of the woods, like trying to like have a fire going, and all these wolves surround her, and this gigantic dire wolf shows up, and it's like Nymeria from season 1 that was Arya's wolf before it ran off, and it's like, and then she kind of calms down and then goes away, and then Arya's like, what the fuck is going on here? and we're all like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, who knows, man? I didn't know what that was about. Leading into that scene, though, Sam was trying to cure Jorah, and it was like the most disgusting thing. Like, because obviously he's covered in the grayscale, and he's been told, they're like one of the other maesters who's older and has more experience than Sam was like, it's a lost cause. They're like trying to treat him, but he was like, I can't help you. And then he basically like kind of looked at his sword and he was like, you have maybe a day or whatever. Basically saying like he should just take care of himself or leave, basically. And then Sam,
well, he said he has like 6 months to live,
but then he kind of inferred that he should just like leave or kill himself.
Well, he said that he can't stay. That's basically what the bottom line was.
Either way, he didn't want Sam to help her, and he didn't want to help Jorah. So Sam basically took it upon himself after reading all these books, probably that he wasn't supposed to read. And it seems like he's like way more driven than these other older guys. Yeah. And he has some urgency about him. He like sneaks in there in the middle of the night. He's like gives him some alcohol or whatever, and he like bites down on the spoon, and he's like, just don't make any noises. It's gonna hurt like crazy. He like cuts off his whole peck basically of like this dried off skin and this dragon scale, and then he's like digging and digging. And grayscale, whatever. And he's just like, it was like a nasty scene, and those guys played it so goddamn funny. It was like,
yeah, it was. There's been a lot of humor with the Sam stuff, which is good because they should be playing with that. But yeah, this scene in particular, it was really cool to see Sam actually doing something like difficult and important and like really trying to help someone out. And like with grayscale, I guess it's just a matter of peeling it off, because I mean a scale can be like popped off, you know what I mean?
He has to take it all off,
and there's so much of it.
And they played it like it was so painful for just that one spot, and I was like, "Fuck, this is gonna suck."
It would be like if your entire body was getting tattooed, probably the worst. So,
or if you just got sunburned like super bad or something. Oh my god,
who knows how long this shit's gonna take to fix? Hopefully, it'll be done by next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Jorah can live. It seems like they're on a good track with that, and that was pretty much everything in the episode.
A couple of things that I just want to touch on real quick. There's some really like cool transitions. I like when filmmakers or producers, whatever, have like an idea of like transitioning to the next scene, and like that scene in particular, he was like working on him and he was like digging and digging, and they kept showing it, and then he was digging, and then all of a sudden it was Arya like digging into a pie, but you didn't know that at first. And you're just like, what the hell? He's like digging into it so bad. But then they pulled back and it was Arya eating her pie, and you're just like, oh, what the fuck?
And they did the same thing kind of with the editing last week with the cleaning of the bedpans and eating the soup. It was it was just so quick and so funny, and then like as it's going on, it's like, which is the soup and which is the shit? Like you can't really tell.
Exactly. Grey Worm.
Oh yeah.
And
Missandei,
yes. Yeah. I didn't feel the chemistry between them, and they've been like teasing this for years now.
Yeah, because they met like forever ago.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't want to say he's a bad actor, because he's not a bad actor, but like the more lines he had, I feel like he doesn't know like how to play the character. That's what I felt watching it, and I was just like, oh, this isn't very great. We haven't seen like a sex scene like that in seasons. It felt like we used to see it. The first season or two was all sex.
It's funny, because the series started out and it was so infamous for the sex scenes. Sex position, because there would be these sex scenes, but they'd be talking, getting pieces of info for the audience out. But it, like they said, they've really toned that down, which is a good thing. I mean, I guess they want to focus more on story.
They're ramping it back up.
But this is definitely one of the first sex scenes in forever. But it was kind of the thing. I kind of disagree about the whole Grey Worm situation. But while I don't totally love their chemistry or the relationship or whatever, I do think it was kind of cool to give Grey Worm like that other dimension, because he's like a trained, hardened soldier, because he's been tortured his whole life, basically. So now that he has this like one soft spot with this one woman, it's kind of like, oh, like warms my heart a little bit.
I do like that they kind of paid that angle off after like all this time.
Yeah,
because he could easily go into war, and be killed or something. Yeah. So I'm glad that they paid that.
Oh man, what if he dies now?
I don't know.
That's cool. You work at my heartstrings like that.
Quick review. What's your score out of 10?
This was a great episode. It was probably like a 9. I give it a 9.
Man, we give out 9s and 10s so easily. I feel like
I've given 110 to one thing in the last 7 months.
I'm gonna give it a 9 too. This is about as good as it gets without
like Battle of the Bastards. 5 more episodes.
God,
5 more
Jesus.
episodes, guys.
That sucks, man. We waited so long for this. Well, that's all right. So we both give it a 9. Go check out Game of Thrones. Obviously, get HBO Now or HBO Go, whatever you want to get.
Share your thoughts down in the comments. Let us know what you thought of the episode, what
Like
you're
the-
looking forward to.
like the video.
Any theories you might have, and like the video, subscribe, and
Check out all of our past Game of Thrones as well.
and all of our Comic-Con footage as well if you're into movies and whatnot. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.